Hey guys, this is Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm doing a deck review of The Solitary Witch Oracle by Lucy Cavenish and the beautiful artwork created by Lady Viktoria. So I had my eye on this deck for quite a while, and it'd been far and few between before I had gotten a new deck. So I'm so happy to have gotten this one. Comes in a rather large box, so maybe you want to find a little sachet or a little bag to put your deck into. Let's go ahead and open her up. First, taking a look at the guidebook here. It has that lovely, I think they call it rose petal finish. So it feels lovely in the hands. Goes on into the introduction of what the solitary witch is, according to Lucy Cavenish. Just talking a little bit about her experiences. It's actually written in a creative writing fashion, which I appreciate. And then just, talking about what it means to kind of go inwards, to be alone, to be away from, let's say, a coven or a group of friends. And then it talks a little bit about how this has been incorporated into an oracle deck. And you have some suggestions for blessing it, shuffling, creating a reading space, tuning into your cards, kind of some of the basics. And then, how to cleanse the deck and such. Talking about essential oils, herbs that you can use alongside this deck. Some objects that you can incorporate, how to do a one-card reading. And then gives you some suggested spreads. Sometimes I like using the spreads out of books, especially when they're unique and have been created by the author. I like the Circle of Witches spread. That one's so unique. There we go. And then we get into our card messages. So it'll give you a little bit about what's going on in the artwork of the card, the meaning according to Lucy Cavenish, a reverse meaning. But like she says at the beginning of her guidebook, definitely use your intuition, because this is just Lucy Cavenish going off of her intuition, with the artwork. And she asks that you do the same. As a solitary witch, the witch is listening to his or her internal guidance. And so although it is really cool to look through at what Miss Cavendish had to say, it's always good to listen to your own intuition. And then at the back here, we have a little bit about Miss Cavendish herself and Lady Viktoria, who works with acrylic paint out of Canada, and she is influenced by nature, mythopoetic realm, being a mother, and the dreams that she has. So super cool. All right, you guys, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's take a look at the cards. Heck yeah. So put this off to the side. And I thought it was a lovely day out here today in the White Mountains. So I'm out here on our property. But here are the backs of the cards. Again, it's got that rose petal finish. We have silver foil here. And I would say that they're about double the size of a normal tarot card, so rather large. I should have brought out my one of my tarot decks for comparison, but I would say this is probably about maybe 6 inches high by about maybe 3.5, 4 inches wide, perhaps. And then the cardstock, I would say, is pretty thick cardstock. So this is probably going into like the 340, 350 GSM. Is actually really thick, which, getting caught up in the shuffling, I don't have large hands, but I'm kind of a tall girl, so I end up just doing top shuffling like this instead of side shuffling, because it's like I really got to stretch my hands to do that, and they do get a little bit stuck together just because of that rose petal finish. But I have heard from other people that if you use a little bit of talcum powder or baby powder, you get it nice and shuffly smooth. So there you go. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at these lovely images. In the images, I just really love with the paints here, how everything flows into each other. Everything is so soft and ethereal. And normally I'm not a huge fan of borders, but I don't mind the very simplistic borders that are here on the side. And I think that the little keyword down here at the bottom is more than enough to get your intuition going if the artwork doesn't already help you out. But yeah, there's just something about this art here. And by the way, if you want to spend longer on an image, go ahead and pause the video. But I don't know, something is just, it's very similar to the types of things I would create when I was younger, because all I did was draw, like every single day. Like I drew during class, I drew when I was just, at home. When I wasn't reading, I was drawing. And this is very similar to that type of energy. I'm not saying my art was exactly the same, but it's that energy where you have this kind of solitary figure looking out on nature, just reconnecting with nature. It's so beautiful. That's me in the herb garden eventually. We're actually just working on getting our solar up and running. We're designing our solar array so we can get our panels up. And then it'll be time to start creating my own little herb garden. Creating foods, making foods and fruits and herbs and spices. Really working with the land. Feeling into the flow of the cycles here. Because depending on where you're at, not every cycle is the same. Some seasons are shorter than others depending on your region. But I think this deck works best being out in nature. Maybe it's just like the naturey feel of the deck, but to me, I love to take these cards and sit out underneath a tree, maybe sit out on our balcony, hang out with the junipers. So, maybe you don't live right next to a forest, but maybe you can get yourself out to a park, maybe just your front yard or backyard. Maybe you can sit near the plants that are inside your house. Well, hello, little friend. Have a little bug there. Actually, as I was setting up for this video, there was a little spider that wanted to join in, so he did a little romp across my cards. I thought that was cute. Her little cauldron. Actually, I have a little teeny, about this big, cast iron cauldron that I keep near our fire pit. So that whenever I collect some of the resin from around here, either juniper resin or some of the newer pinyon pine resin before it turns into copal, I can burn some of it ceremonially when we do our fires out here. She is 1,000 flowers. We are all one, of course. The Beltane lover. Speaking of Beltane, as I record this video, that was yesterday. Healing tree of Litha. I'm actually sitting underneath an 800 or so year old juniper tree. Ancestors and apples. I would love to grow apple trees out here. Again, it's so soft, it's so quiet. Even the cards feel soft. So there's a softness energetically, but also in the actual physical feel of the cards, which I think is neat. And last card. So as with any deck that I do a review of, I always pull a card or cards for a little message for all of us. So my intention is a message for our best and highest good for any and all who are watching this. And so you can see how my intuition might work with these cards. I know it may not be the same as yours, but just so you can get an idea. Okay, looks like we have our card. And we have Spells from the Hearth. Actually, let me get in here so you guys can get a nice look at this card. Okay, so let me dive into this one. Give me just a moment. Okay, so whatever it is that we're wanting to create at this time, and as I look at the fire here and I think of Beltane yesterday, and we're still kind of in the energy of Beltane and actually getting closer to our full moon in Scorpio lunar eclipse, there's a lot of powerful energy going on, and this is an external reminder of the internal power that we have within us. And unless our heart is really into something, you know, we feel energetically connected to something, whatever magic that we're trying to create is going to be in flow with that passion, with that connection, with that heart connection. And if there isn't a heart connection, if the human self and the spiritual self aren't aligned in the things that you're wanting to create, then it's going to be very hard for that spell work or whatever it is trying to bring that into reality, because there is a misalignment. So during this time of the lunar eclipse coming up and our full moon coming up and diving into the fires of Beltane, really looking into your heart, going into meditation, going into the self. What do you truly want? Not what you think the ego may want. The ego may want fame and fortune, or maybe just fortune, or you know, friends, and you know, this and that. But what do we want at a soul level? Something that's going to help us along in our mission here on Earth. And when we find out some of the things that we want at this present moment, then we get ourselves into alignment, and then we can add our spell work, you know, working with our herbal allies or the moon or the sun or the elements, whatever it is that you want to work with, and that will enhance your alignment. So this is a great time for meditation, great time for looking in. Thank you, Solitary Witch, for reminding us of that. But anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Let me know if you have this deck or thinking about it. Perhaps you use it with other decks. Actually, there is a deck that I think this pairs perfectly with, and that is the, I believe it's called a Midnight Magic Tarot. It's the Mushroom Tarot. If you type in Mushroom Tarot, it's, I think, the only one that'll come up. But I think that the artwork, which is I think more watercolor, works really well with this acrylic art, acrylic paints. Sorry. So yeah, I like utilizing it in that manner, but I also like working with it on its own, and sometimes pulling a card, and when I'm creating my special magical teas or healing teas, just to kind of have a focus for where I'd like to direct my healing energy. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that notification bell, ding ding ding, for more videos just like this. Don't forget to check out my live chats that happen every Sunday, and don't forget to check out my channeling playlist. I do some channeling videos, and they usually come out every Monday. So anyway, I will catch you guys later, and yeah, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.